Earlier this year, Mark Lang was serving a jail sentence for his role in one of Northland's biggest methamphetamine operations. Now he's the proud owner and curator of Tika Ponotoi Art Gallery in Tākiwira, Dargaville. The carver is aiming to prove that his dark past won't define his future. For some inmates, incarceration breeds resentment. Lang instead chose to focus on the Kaupapa Māori programs available to inmates and work towards his rehabilitation. Kei D'Angelo Martin, tēnei pūrongo.
These days, Mark Lang is a changed man.
I could never see myself being in jail. I suppose I didn't think I was going to get caught. The last 10 years are probably what built up to my incarceration. I was incarcerated for 7 years.
In 2014, Mark was working in Whangare as a qualified engineer. Life looked good. But behind the facade, it was falling apart.
My addiction started just through the workplace. You know, it was quite rampant, the old methamphetamine. Back when I was working as an engineer, you know, just shoot up the road for lunchtime sessions and stuff. Just sort of evolved from there.
Mark had a decent upbringing and now a good job. He was living just out of town and was regularly socialising with his mates. But his mates were actually running a clandestine lab producing millions of dollars of meth.
That was my main driver. You know, you got free gear.
They soon discovered Mark was an engineer and encouraged him to adapt equipment to produce high quantities of meth and instruct the cooks.
I wasn't really worried about the money. You know, I was just worried about getting another bag.
Little did he know, he was taking part in the largest pea manufacturing operation in Aotearoa at the time. His life as he knew it was on the line.
It was pretty much over for me before I even walked in the door. It wasn't a prolonged thing, it was only months. I knew the consequences were massive. I knew that the maximum sentence was life imprisonment.
In 2014, police raided the Northland home, terminating the operation. But Mark managed to stay under the radar.
If they hadn't picked me up at that stage, I had to do a bit more investigating to find out who I was and that. But I knew that it was going to happen. Pretty much your heart falls to the bottom of your stomach, you know, especially when you know it's all over. Reality hadn't really sunken in until I got arrested.
He pleaded guilty. The judge described Mark as an intelligent, educated and perceptive man, puzzled that he became embroiled in illegal activity. He acknowledged Mark's motivation was to obtain pee for his own use rather than profit.
Yeah, the addiction just outweighs anything. He got sentenced to 14.5 years for manufacture of methamphetamine. After being sentenced and the cell door shut, you know, it sort of took my breath away.
Mark had hit rock bottom.
That's when I sort of decided, right, I'm going to do everything in my power, you know, to try and get my first parole. So, yeah, I got that mindset on that first night and just started working towards those goals.
But it wasn't easy.
Plenty of times while I was inside, had bags of meth thrown on my counter. You know, but I was going, oh, nah, bro, you know, I want to get out of here. The meth was a scourge on society and devastated communities, just ripped families apart. I didn't want to be a part of that anymore.
In 2016, Mark served a few months in Ngāwhā prison before being transferred to Hawke's Bay.
And that's when it all changed for me, pretty much. Just felt a big shift, and it all just started from there. My rehabilitation started.
Mark utilised a number of Kaupapa Māori programs that were available to inmates.
Because if you do your programs, you know, the doors will open and you can move forward. Completed the Mauri Tūpai, completed Tikanga Level 1, Level 2. Delving into those spiritual Māori programs that I did made me see my worth, you know, made me realise, hey, I can restore my mana and my mauri. Because when I went to prison, you know, my mana and my mauri was tarnished through my offending.
Mark discovered his calling and took up mahi whakairo.
It took a while to get into it, you know, banging away there on the chisel, going, oh, nah, this is too hard. But yeah, I just kept at it.
Who taught you?
A pretty much taught myself. Oh, and the bros, you know, watching the bros carving. Pretty much all the Māori focus units have carving rooms in them. It's a taonga that needs to be shared, you know, it's a taonga that needs to be preserved. That's one of the main things why I got into it. And I think it's the nurturing side of it.
He carved several significant taonga whilst in prison.
I felt a sense that I owed the community back and I had my dues to pay. So yeah, anything needed to be done, you know, I put my hand up. Yeah, do a few projects for around the prison and, you know, the odd ones for the schools. You know, I felt guilt that I did have a part to play in that. That's why throughout my whole sentence, you know, I was just giving back. So yeah, I had to do 7 years before I could go up for a parole hearing.
It's only been 5 months since Mark was released from prison, and he's gone back up north to his ukaipo in Takiwira, Dargaville.
I thought it was going to be a lot more cruisy. I thought I'd just get out and, you know, and slot back into my normal thing. But I think it was just the information overload. I had so much to do. I was in a bit of like a trance-like state for probably about 3 weeks.
Yeah, because a lot's happened since you got out, eh?
Yeah.
It's been all go.
You know, I've been pretty busy for the last 5 months.
Visits with his auntie have become a regular thing.
So did you think you'd be in this position 5 months ago when you got out?
Not really. Yes, it's amazing how your plans can come together if you stay focused. I had no idea how quick it was going to come together, how much support from whānau, the community.
A large part of that support has come from local businessman Dion McCormick.
For me, that's what it's all about, is that power by empowerment, you know, when we do that as communities. And that's the protective blanket that we can have as a community to support each other.
Dion has helped Mark get his own art studio.
So over here on this wall, when you're walking on your right-hand side, it's going to be all my mahi displayed, taiaha, tewhitewa, hoi, patu. Then we walk further on into this corner up here, and we'll have more displays of resin art, probably having about 12 exhibitors filling this place up. I'd never would have dreamed of what it's developed into now. Yeah, it's exceeded my expectations. Yeah, I've put everything I've got into it. I concentrated on and I laser focused on my mission. Yeah, no distractions.
With nothing to tempt him back to his old life.
How long have you been sober for, bro?
I haven't touched anything since I was incarcerated.
Mark is carving his way to a second chance.
And I'm quite happy to keep on this journey.